Let me tell you a story. About 12 years ago, I'd just given birth to my daughter 8 months prior, and I went to my doctor for my annual visit. I was feeling really good. I had lost all my baby weight. I was eating healthy, exercising more. I expected a clean bill of health. So I was shocked when my doctor told me my cholesterol was over 300, and she wanted to put me on a statin. I was like, wait a minute. I'm a registered dietitian. I'm eating a low-fat, heart-healthy diet. How could this be? So I asked her to give me a couple of months to see if I could fix the situation on my own. And luckily, she agreed. I remember leaving there thinking, how could I be doing all the right things and my cholesterol be so bad? So I started to do some research, and I came across a book called The Great Cholesterol Myth. And what I learned is that cholesterol is actually an inflammatory response. If I could reduce the inflammation in my body, I could potentially improve my overall numbers. And so I took the advice of the book, and instead of eliminating all the fat in my diet, like I had been doing, I worked to find better balance between healthy fats and carbohydrates. You see, when I was so focused on eating no fat, it led to the overconsumption of carbs and sugars. And it was really this imbalance in my diet that led to my poor numbers. 6 months later, I went back to my doctor, and my cholesterol was under 200. She was thrilled. She even asked, what did you do? And I told her, I kind of did the exact opposite of what I thought I should be doing. And it was really from that point forward that I never looked at nutrition in the same way. You see, what I learned during my research is that since the development of the first nutritional guidelines, you know, the food guide pyramid, the overall health of Americans has not improved. In reality, the overall health of Americans has dramatically declined. Let's take a look at the numbers. In 1960, just prior to the first set of nutritional guidelines, our obesity rate was 14%. Fast forward to today, and our obesity rate is closer to 40. Being overweight is defined by having a BMI of greater than 25. And the CDC notes that nearly 72% of the population fits that criteria. Yet half of us are on a diet at any given time. And research shows that you're gonna try anywhere from 50 to 130 different diets in your life. Think about it. How many diets have you already tried? 20, 30, 40? And then there's this last stat, the one I know you've all heard before. And that's the one that says 95% of dieters fail. And you know what's interesting about this stat that's been used in congressional hearings, written widely in diet books, and quoted often in research, is that it's actually a myth. There is no scientific data to back its truth, but because so many of us have experienced such failure with diets in the past, we believe it to be true. Despite how ridiculous it sounds to say 95% of dieters fail, we don't second guess it because we've seen those same patterns in our own life. So I ask you, why are we so bad at creating sustainable health and wellness in the United States? Well, what I've learned over the last 20 years as a weight loss dietitian is that when you create nutritional guidelines based on the restriction and exclusion of certain macronutrients in foods, which is what most diets do, you feed into the number one reason why dieters fail, the all or nothing mindset. You know what I'm talking about. It's the you're 100% on or you're 100% off. To put it in dieters' terms, you're either eating no junk food or you're eating all the junk food. It's all or nothing. For the past 4 decades, we've been using fear to establish nutritional guidelines. It started with the fear of fat in the 80s and 90s. Fast forward to today, and it's the fear of carbohydrates and sugars. We've decided that teaching in absolutes is the only way to make Americans healthy. Yet we're more obese and ill than ever before. Think about it. The last time you or a family member went to your doctor, you were diagnosed with a chronic condition, and you were told to cut something out of your diet. You have high blood pressure, cut out the fat and salt. You have diabetes, cut out the carbs and sugars. And you leave there motivated and determined to do so because your health depends on it, only to find yourself struggling to be consistent a couple of weeks or a couple of months later. And in your mind, if you can't do it 100%, it's not worth doing it at all. You don't believe that the 50, 60, 70% effort that you are able to put forth is good enough. So instead of seeing the value of doing something, you choose to do nothing. And there you have it. It's the all or nothing mindset that's holding most people back from reaching their long-term health and wellness goals. And our ability to break this mindset is truly the missing link to long-term success. And what I've learned over the last 5 minutes, the last 5 years, is that when you focus more on making a mindset shift, teaching people they don't have to be perfect to be successful, and showing them balance around their food choices, the real change begins. Let's take Becky's story. She was diagnosed with PCOS and told to cut out the carbs in order to manage her symptoms and lose weight. And for the next 8 years, she tried to do just that. At the same time, she ended up losing and gaining the same 20 pounds over and over and over. 2 years ago, she reached out to me and said, Amanda, teach me how to live a low-carb lifestyle consistently. And I told her, the idea that you think you have to take all the carbs out of your diet for the rest of your life is exactly what's setting you up to fail. My goal was to teach her balance around her food choices. But more importantly, I wanted to take the fear out of carbohydrates. I knew that if I was able to remove the fear from this one macronutrient, it would allow her to have the occasional flex meal and slip up here and there without feeling like a failure. And when she's not busy beating herself up over one meal or one off day, she's able to stay more consistent. And it's her ability to be consistent that allowed her to finally transform her health. And Becky's just one of thousands of people that I've seen. And maybe you relate to Becky's story. Maybe you're on diet attempt number 30, and you now realize it is your own all or nothing mindset that's been holding you back. Well, if that's the case, I leave you with these 3 simple strategies to help you break this mindset and finally exit the diet roller coaster. Number 1, you don't have to be perfect to make an impact on your health, but you do have to be consistently good. I like to call this the 80-20 approach. 80% of the time, you're fueling your body based on the way you wish to feel and the results you aim to achieve. 20% of the time, you're a little bit more flexible. You're not perfect, and you're not completely off the rails. This allows you to celebrate a holiday or have a meal out without feeling like you failed. Let me show you a really easy way to implement this strategy. Most people eat 3 meals a day. That's 21 meals a week. 80% of 21 is 17. Your goal is to make 17 meals a week count. Make them dialed in. Make them with foods that elevate your health. 20%, 3 to 4 meals a week, you're a little bit more flexible. All right, you're not perfect, but you're not completely off track. This allows you to celebrate a holiday or have the occasional night out without feeling like a failure. This simple approach allows you to create the right amount of consistency that you need in order to see results, but still live your life. Number 2, you have to learn the power of resetting immediately and dropping the might as well thinking. Let me give you an example. You walk into work Friday morning and there's a box of hot, fresh donuts. And you try really hard to resist because donuts do not align with your current health goals. But you end up having a few. We've all been there, right? Afterwards, we feel like crap. We regret our decision. For so many, an event like this triggers the might as well thinking. Well, might as well have nachos for lunch and pizza and beer for dinner because I've already blown it. And for others, because it's Friday, it turns into might as well just eat like an asshole all weekend and start fresh Monday. This is the cycle that we must break. We have to stop using the might as well thinking as an excuse to give up. Because one morning of donuts does not make or break your progress. It's what you do after a morning of donuts that potentially will. So the next time you find yourself at the end of a meal that doesn't align with your current goals, instead of saying might as well, make every effort to reset as soon as possible. Your ability to learn to reset the quickest allows you to create that consistency that you need to see long-term progress and results. Number 3, you gotta always do something. I see this over and over with my clients that feel overwhelmed and off track. They just give up. And what you have to realize is that you don't always have to do it all, but you always have to do something. You can never completely give up on your health and wellness journey. So the next time you're feeling overwhelmed and off track, instead of giving up, I ask you to create 1 or 2 non-negotiables for the week to come. Make them simple. Drinking more water, taking more steps, packing your lunch. Make them something that you can commit to on a daily basis. And then as those become second nature, build on it, habit by habit. The ability to create these good habits over and over gives you the momentum you need to see progress towards your health and wellness. And there you have it. It's as simple as that, 1, 2, 3. Breaking the mindset, the all or nothing mindset, is as simple as trying to stay consistent. Achieving long-term health and wellness is about your ability to be flexible and find balance. But most importantly, it is about your ability to create consistency. And when you're struggling with the all or nothing mindset, this is impossible to do. So as I leave you today, I hope you remember, you don't have to be perfect to impact your health. Aim to be consistently good. And when you're not good, don't say might as well. Learn to reset immediately. And when all else fails and you're feeling completely off track and overwhelmed, just do something. Thank you.